What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good, family? What's popping? What's good? Let me just make sure I got sound on YouTube and I got sound on Facebook. Hold on. All right. YouTube is good. YouTube is good. Let me check Facebook right now. Man, YouTube, guess what? I'm back, YouTube. YouTube said I violated their community standard for telling the truth. But it's all good though. We already know what it is. You feel me? All right. So here we are. We good on both platforms right now. So first thing I want to do is I want to acknowledge the great spirit, universal all, universal intelligence, what we were taught to call God. All right. But anyway, how is everybody doing, man? How is everybody doing? Today, I got some great information for you guys. I've been going in on Facebook for all my YouTube subscribers. Man, listen, y'all need to check me out on Facebook because for the past 7 days, they blocked me on YouTube. I was dropping jams on Facebook. I was going in. So y'all just got to check me out on Facebook, okay? Also, let me just go ahead and share my Instagram. You guys may also want to link me and follow me on Instagram because I share a lot of information when it comes to financial literacy and just people in general being autonomous financially. You see what I'm saying? So you could follow me on Instagram. Money Comes Easy. That's MoneyComesez. All right. Follow me on Instagram, or you could just scan the code. You feel me? All right. So that's that. That's out of the way. Now, let me just say here, it's a beautiful, beautiful time to be alive. Okay. Everything is beautiful. And I wish the same for each and every one of you. It's a beautiful time to be alive. I know right now a lot of people are hurting. A lot of people, their loved ones are transitioning because of what was planned. I will not say too much before, YouTube blocked me again for telling the truth. But the point is, people are actually, transitioning from this thing that was put on us, right? So for any of you that had loved ones that transitions, I want to send a lot of positive energy to y'all and know that you guys are in my thoughts and it's always positive. You feel me? But we gotta stand strong and we gotta stay focused and we gotta keep moving forward and make things better. All right, so that we're able to put ourselves in a place where the so-called powers there be will not inflict, those things on us. Okay, so with that being said, the purpose of this video, especially for my YouTube platform, on Facebook, I've been going in. Like I said, I've been going in. Okay, literally on Facebook, I went through all the countries in the Americas for the most part, all the states in the United States, and I also named all the original tribes that were there. All right, some of them extinct, but you guys definitely want to check that out. I've been dropping a lot of gems on Facebook. Okay, so link me on Facebook. Just look for Kalanago Flying Eagle, and you'll find me on Facebook. But today's video is pretty much some of the information you guys have already seen or heard, but I just want to kind of speak my mind because of what I've been doing on Facebook. A lot of people have been sending me requests and I respect that. I appreciate that, right? But a couple of people also added me to a few Native groups, okay, Native American groups, all right? And I'm cool with that. But as soon as that happened, I got about, no joke, I got about 15 to 20, okay, private messages. Of course, they all went to spam because, they're not my friends on Facebook. So whenever somebody send you a message, an inbox on Facebook and you guys are not friends, it automatically goes to your spam, all right? Or request to send message, whatever the case may be. So long story short, I got about 15 to 20 inboxes, you know what I'm saying, from people who identify as Native Americans, okay? And the disrespect, to me, it has to come to a stop, All right. And we are partly responsible for that because we are not stepping up enough. We are not uniting enough. Even if we know what we know, and there's so much information to validate who we are still separated. And when I say we, I'm talking about the so-called Negroid, or the so-called Negroid and or Negro, because the Negroid is not the Negro. Okay, so we have to realize that Negroid is a general term that was used for just pretty much Africans on a whole. Negroid, okay, and Negro was a term that was used to identify certain ethnic group in Africa, and people in the West, which is what we call the West Indies, or what they call America the West. So when the colonizers came to the Americas, they called the Negroes in the Americas Negro de Terra. All right, Negro de Terra, which is Terra is Terra, and I did an extensive breakdown on that on Facebook for all my YouTube subscribers. You missed that. All right, that was powerful. And then I broke down the Negro de Guinea, which is Africans. Okay, so the point I'm making is there is enough validated, proven information out there that we are the original people of the Americas, period. Okay, I mean, no matter what anybody says, I could debunk that with proof, documents, and document big conversation. Okay, but I got a lot of, like I said, I got a lot of messages from Native people, and I'm cool if you say, that's what you want to call yourself, that's fine. But who know the truth. You see what I'm saying? So, but you have no right to tell me that this is not my land and tell me who I am. You see what I'm saying? So pretty much all 15 to 20, I would say about 18 to be exact, all 18 of them, it was the attack. Oh, well, you're not native. You're not native. You're not native. Prove it with your DNA. Prove it with your DNA. Prove it with your DNA. Okay. When they know well that the Bureau of Indian Affairs, they got rid of the blood quantum, because the blood quantum process, okay, it was throwing them off their game. Okay, because it was being realized that they didn't have as much blood as original Americans than they thought they did. So they had to get rid of the blood quantum process to prove that you were actually an American. And when I say American, I'm talking about American Indian. So they only had to do it through what they call Dawes Rolls and the census. That was the validation. You see what I'm saying? So it wasn't being done by blood. So don't ask me for DNA, even if I did mine and I'll break that down and I'll talk about that. And I'll tell you the reason why I did that. Okay. But the point I'm making is I know the game that was played. I know the paper genocide that was done to our people. You see what I'm saying? I know the truth. But my thing is, how is that anybody could claim to be native, but when we say we are, it's a problem? Why is that? And to me, that alone in itself is alarming. That is suspicious to me. You feel me? Because even people we clearly see that are not original to this land, they claim to be natives and they get away with it. But anytime we do, no, you're black. No, you're African American. No, you're from Africa. Nah, man, stop playing the games. So what I'm gonna do is today, I'm gonna play a little bit of a clip, which you guys have already seen. Okay, when I called the Cherokee Nation, all right, I exposed them. And the purpose of this video, again, is for educational purposes. All right, what I mean by that is it is not to belittle anybody. It is not to disrespect anybody, but it's to continue setting the record straight. All right, because somebody have to put a certain demographic of these natives in their place for disrespecting the original people of the land. You see what I'm saying? Don't do it. Whether you guys are doing it intentionally or unintentionally, meaning that you don't know and that's what you were taught, or just like how the original people were taught they're from Africa. You see what I'm saying? It's from an educational system. I get that. But stop disrespecting us, okay? We made you who you are because we did, because we were here, not you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little excerpt from that video. I'm not going to play the entire thing, where to prove and validate everything that I say from one of the top, if not the top Cherokee nation in the United States, in Oklahoma, okay? From his mouth, saying that if his grandmother, okay, were to straighten her hair, whatever the case may be, all right, then she would look like a black woman from Oklahoma. So what are you saying? Or she would be dark skinned. They always like to use the word dark. What does that mean? Dark skin is just another word for being black. The point is, you are not dark skinned. You guys are pale people. Stop playing the games. And again, this is no disrespect. All right, stop playing the semantics with the words. And then I'm going to break down who is a free white person for you, so then you'll realize the opposite of that could have been a so-called white slave as well. All right, we got to put these things in perspective. So let me play this video first, the first part of that, not the entire thing, just the conversation, and then I will go into everything else. All right? Because I'm tired of the games, man. And that's the reason why I took such a long break from doing these videos, because it was getting too stressful. It was becoming too taxing emotionally, and it was just too much. And it was just too much energy. So I just, I shared the information, I did the teaching, and I left it alone. But the ancestors called me back to, because of what's going on right now, I realize people have more time, they're home, so they have more time to spend to research who they are and listen to videos. So the ancestors called me back to start bringing that information back again. You feel me? But I'm not going to go with the back and forth. I'm not going to do that. My thing is, I don't care what you say. Prove to me with facts that I'm not who I say I am. You see, you always have to put the burden of proof on people when they talk, even in court cases, even within law. Put the burden on proof on the accuser. Let them prove what they are saying. Don't try to never be a defendant. Let them prove what they are saying. You see what I mean? And that's always my point. Even in law, I do that. I'm not a defendant. I ask you to prove what you are saying. All right. But anyway, that's a whole different story, a whole different subject. So let me go ahead and share this video real quick, and we'll get into a little bit of that. All right. Because you see, I would rather deal with somebody who say that they're native and respect who I say I am. You feel me? I mean, when it all boils down to everything, we are all being oppressed by the same entities. You feel me? When it all boils down to everything. So why are we fighting each other? You be who you say you are. I know the truth. And the same thing goes for Moors. You feel me? There are Moors that I'm cool with, and they know the truth, and they tell me the truth. But I just cannot deal with the Moors. Either they are lost or they're confused, who just want to put everybody in a box and call all of us Moors and talk about America is Morocco and all that BS. Come on, stop playing, man. Stop playing. That's why when a lot of so-called Moors send me requests, I don't accept it. No disrespect, because of that reason, because you guys come to debate. You come to debate and tell me who I am. Don't do that. You be who you are. I know the truth. I know where Moors are from. Okay? I know where natives are from. And none of them are original to the Americas. And no, the Americas wasn't called El Morocco. It never was that. It was never El Morocco. Okay, let's stop playing the games, man. We could all get along and respect each other. But so-called black people are the most disenfranchised people on the planet. Every other ethnic group, they could come together. Guess what? Not every so-called white people are the same. Not every so-called Asian are the same, but they will stick together to make sure we never get on top. You know why? Because we don't respect each other. That's the problem. We don't respect boundaries. You want to force on me and tell me who I am. You still got that colonized mind. I know what your forefathers did to my ancestors. So stop playing the games. Stop it. All right. But anyway, let me share this this video here real quick. Y'all got to stop doing that, man. So this is the video here. Let me go ahead and play this.
Greetings, peace, love, harmony, and light. This is Chief Kalanago with another video. Man, listen, I just had the most interesting conversation whatsoever. All right. So let me give you a prelude as to what this is about. Okay. A sister hit me up and said, hey, Chief, you know what? I've traced my lineage and come to find out that my family is actually Cherokee. Right. So I called the Cherokee Nation trying to get, and asking them about the application, how I could become a part of the member. And they said, hey, you know what? We don't have Black people that's part of our nation. All right. So I was like, OK, well, you know what? Give me the information. I'm going to call, because as you guys know, I had already done a video questioning, OK, the validity of the Cherokee Nation chief in Oklahoma. He has 132 Indian blood in him, but yet still he gets to be the chief. So today the spirit led me to call the Cherokee Nation, and the conversation that follows is exactly what took place. All right. Now, whether they knew I was recording or not, I made it very clear from the beginning that it was on the record. Okay, so I do want them to hear that conversation, because you see, family, when you listen to this conversation very well, you will hear the semantics and the games that's being played. All right. You will hear the semantics and the game that's being played. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you listen to it, because I don't want to give it away. Listen to, and I'm not talking about just listen. I want you to hear the conversation, because there's a difference between listening and hearing. You see, listening is physical. OK, but hearing is spiritual. So I want you to hear the conversation. Hear it. Let it resonate with your spirit and your soul. OK, and then you'll peep the game. All right. So the conversation that follows is exactly what transpired or what took place. OK, once the video is done, then I will give my conclusion. All right. Peace.
Thank you for calling Cherokee Nation. If you know your party's extension, please enter it now. If you would like to dial by name, press the pound key. If you wish to speak to our receptionist during normal business hours, press 0 now or continue.
Wait while I transfer your call.
Please hold for the next available operator. Lado.
Yes, good day. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful day. Just have a couple of questions, to put on my records, or in my record rather. I know you guys a Cherokee Nation located in Oklahoma, correct?
Oklahoma.
Okay, and what is the name of your chief?
Bill John Baker.
Bill John Baker. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so I'm also Cherokee as well. So a quick question. Do you guys have any Cherokee members that are of the dark skin, dark browns, the so-called black, so-called African American members?
Okay, I'm not sure the registration, okay?
Say that again?
I'm going to transfer your registration.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Cherokee Nation registration may help you.
Yes, good day. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. They just actually transferred me. I have a couple of questions. Just some questions for my record. I'm also Cherokee, but I wanted to ask, do you guys have any dark-skinned so-called black, so-called African American members?
Well, I mean, we have the freedmen. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm just talking about a lot of so-called black people. We're Cherokee, so I just wanted to know.
Mixed blood? Is that what you're talking about?
Say that again?
Mixed blood? Is that what you're talking
No,
about?
not mixed blood. I'm Cherokee. I'm not mixed with anything. I'm just asking, do you have any members that's so-called black?
Now, as you could hear, not at one time I said I was black or African American. I said so-called. That's the trick that they use. What you mean, the freeman? What you mean the freeman? Yes, the freeman is the original. Okay, well, some of the freemen, because some of them came as colonizers, okay, that looked like us, but the majority of the freed people that were in the South were already here. Okay, they were the original people here. Okay, so they like to put us in that category as freedmen. Okay, and then what you're talking about, mixed blood. All right, the only mixed blood that happened is when y'all mixed with us, not when we didn't mix with you. Y'all came here and mixed with us. That's how y'all got the small percentage of so-called American Indian in you. Okay, we didn't get it from you. You got it from us. So let us stop playing the game. You feel me? And if I even have to take it even further, on this entire planet, we are the original people. So what does that mean? It means that everybody came from us, if we want to play semantics with the words. Okay? And that is scientifically proven. Nobody could deny that. All right, let's proceed.
I don't understand your question, I guess.
Okay, do you know what? Okay, so you have an idea of what they call black people right here in the United States, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so do you have any members that are so-called black, but they're Cherokee?
Well, I still don't understand. I mean, you can't be black and you can't be, you got to be full blood.
I can't hear you. Say that again.
I don't understand I'm still not really understanding your question.
Okay, so all right. So how do I qualify to be a member of the Cherokee Nation?
You're saying you're Cherokee, but
Yeah.
you're black.
Yeah. Well, people consider me to be black, but I don't call myself black because I don't look black. You know, black is black. It's a color. I'm not a color. So,
What do you mean?
I'm brown. I'm brown of copper tone. I'm not black.
Okay, but that doesn't. You still have to prove what your race or your ethnicity is by your. We use what is called the Dawes roll.
You see what I told y'all guys? You know, they cannot say they use blood, because if they use blood quantum, they are going to lose in court. You see what I'm saying? Because we have the original blood of the people they call the original American Indians, because we are them. That's why they play the games. You see why she keep biting her words, and well, she's thinking very carefully as to what to say. But I already peeped the game. Well, you cannot be original. What you mean? What do you mean? Listen to the conversation. That's why I tell people, give people a chance to talk, and you will listen. Okay, and you will hear them. Let's proceed.
Okay.
And the Dawes roll was established by the federal government, and that was taken between 1899 and 1906. And
all right. Now check this out. The Dawes Rolls was created by the federal government, a corporation. Okay, a corporation that came here for commercial purposes. All right, to infringe upon us. So you have to realize what was done to our people. Listen to this conversation. Let me play this little part back again.
You still have to prove what your race or your ethnicity is by your. We use what is called the Dawes roll.
Okay.
And the Dawes roll was established by the federal government, and that was taken between 1899 and 1906 in what is now northeastern Oklahoma.
Okay.
And that was taken for the people who came over on the Trail of Tears.
Okay.
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 And they were able to sign that if they met the eligibility requirements back then.
Okay.
So if they were here and they met those eligibility requirements, they could sign up on there and get a roll number. Now, if we can trace a lineal ancestor back to the Dawes roll, then you would be eligible to apply with the Cherokee Nation.
All right. You see, that's part of the paper genocide, where they decided who the Indian is on paper. Okay. Once again, Annie is the original name. Annie and Cherokee is not the same. That's what they made it. They made it. That's why a lot of our original ancestors did not make the Dawes Rose because they didn't want to sell out. So they took Annie and we are people out of the picture. They killed that name and they created a whole new nation, a whole new people called Cherokee. Now, before I proceed, let me just show you that Annie is indigenous. Okay, let me show you that. Give me 1 second. Let me stop sharing the screen, because whenever I share things, I like to make sure I show proof of everything that I share and I show. All right, because I don't just like to talk. I like to back my things up with documentation. Let me share my screen here real quick. Okay, give me a second. Boom. Let me share this, and I'll come back to the video in a second. Okay, let us go look at the etymology of Annie. Okay, because the first 3 letters, which may be considered a prefix in Annie on Wea, is Annie. Now look at Annie. Annie, the etymology. Now, the etymology of a word is the foundation, the meaning, the original meaning of the word. Okay, Annie, blackbird of the cuckoo family, native to the American tropics. Okay, let me repeat that again. Annie, as in Annie Yonwea, Annie, blackbird of the cuckoo, native to American tropics. 1829 from Spanish or Portuguese Annie, from Tupi. Okay, so what the Portuguese did, they came, they saw the Annie people and they changed it to the Tupi people. All right, and those were some people in South America. As you know, our people traveled the entire Americas. So I want to show you that. Now, let me go back to the video. All right, let me go back to the video.
Okay, and when was that?
Or one of the other 5 civilized tribes or whatever that might have come over on the trail of years.
Oh, okay, I get that. So when was that Dawes Rose taken again? In
1899.
1899. Okay. So I could trace my family here in the Americas way before 1806, but
we don't need to go back that far to 1899 to 1906.
You hear that? Oh, we don't need to go back that far. From 1899, because why? That was the time it was fully established that they created a new identity. You see what I'm saying? No, we ain't going that far. We only going to go where when the Dawes Rose started, that's when we could prove that you were Cherokee. Let's forget that your people were here before Christopher Columbus so-called discovered anything, because we know he didn't discover anything. Let's forget that your people were here all the way in the 1100s. Let's forget about that. Let us just focus on when the Dawes Rose started, and that's where we need to start. Paper genocide. All right, listen again.
That might have come over on the trail of years.
Oh, okay, I get that. So when was that Dawes Rose taken again? In
1899.
1899. Okay. So I could trace my family here in the Americas way before 1806, but
we don't need to go back that far to 1899 to 1906.
So what happened
to about 7 years?
Okay, so what happened?
A 7-year time window.
So what I'm asking is, what happened to those of us who didn't get, partake in the Dawes Rose period?
Okay, then you would not be eligible.
You wouldn't be eligible, even if I'm American Indian.
Right. You had to sign up. Your ancestor would have had to sign up on the Dawes Roll.
You hear that? Now you heard how I caught her. You see, let me tell you something. I'm a wordsmith. You see how I caught her real quick? I said, so even if I'm American Indian, she didn't deny and say anything though. She just said, yes, that's right. You would have to be on the Dawes Rose. So she didn't deny that I wasn't American Indian, but you have to be on the Dawes Rose to prove it. Man, I'm telling y'all, man, Chief Kalanago ain't no joke, man. Listen.
Okay. And you said, so your chief is I think 132 Cherokee, right? Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So
Possibly.
well, that's what it says, because I've done some research, because I've been trying to connect back to my roots, right?
Okay.
So if your chief is 132 Indian, then what is the other 32? Because if he's only
we don't have
1%.
a blood quantum cutoff. We don't have a blood quantum. It all goes
You hear that? We don't have a blood quantum. So in other words, it's not your blood that makes you a native in this country. Okay, it's not your blood. So when you guys get this, listen to the language, listen to the verbiage. Okay, it's not your blood that makes you Indian. It is the U.S. government that decide who is Indian through the Bureau of Indian Affairs. It's through organizations. Let's hear it again.
So
possibly.
well, that's what it says, because I've done some research, because I've been trying to connect back to my roots, right?
Okay.
So if your chief is 132 Indian, then what is the other 32? Because if he's only 1%.
We don't have a blood quantum cutoff. We don't have a blood quantum. It all goes back to if you can prove, if you had a lineal ancestor that signed the Dawes roll. That's what we use.
Okay, so
you can prove that.
So essentially, even if I'm full-blooded Indian, because I'm a full-blood Indian, all right? So even if I'm full-blooded Indian, because I wasn't on the Dawes rolls, or my family wasn't on the Dawes rolls, that means I cannot be part of one of the 5 tribes, correct?
Well, if they use the Dawes roll,
No, we
the
didn't.
civilized tribes
Yes.
use the Dawes roll.
Okay.
Okay. Now, other tribes use different things as far as their eligibility goes.
Okay.
But we happen to use the Dawes roll, yes.
Oh, wow. I mean, to me, that's a little bit, I mean, I know it's nothing that you could do about it, but it's a little bit unfortunate, because, again, my ancestors have always been
That's what happened in the history. That's what happened way back then, and there's nothing we can do about it now.
Okay, you see, that's what happened in the history. In other words, we were put in place to take your place, and there's nothing we could do about it now. You see what I'm saying? It is really that simple. And once again, this is not to slight anybody. And the reason why I made that call is because, like I said, a sister wanted to see if she could become a member, because she did her research and she got the information, all right, that her ancestors were Cherokee. And they told her, nah, she couldn't be a part of that. I didn't call because I wanted to be a part of that. No, I called to expose the games and the lies, all right, and the identity theft of our people. That was my reason for calling. But let's proceed.
That's what happened back then, and that's what, they had the freedom to choose if they wanted to sign those roles back then. Some people did, and some people did not.
You hear that? They had the freedom to choose. But guess what? A lot of our ancestors didn't want to sell out. Okay? So they remained Annie and Weah, and they didn't want to transfer or convert to Cherokee. Annie and Weah and Cherokee is not the same. They took Annie and Weah, which is the principal people, meaning the first, and then Cherokee means the fire people. So metaphysically speaking, okay, the fire people burned out the principal people. Don't play with me, man. I came from intelligence, which is the universal intelligence, and the Great Spirit have graced me with a mind to think beyond the capability of the 10%. They make us think we could use our mind. Okay? I've tapped into so many things, man. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all just don't know. You feel me? In the beginning was the word. So I'm a wordsmith. Listen to what the woman is saying. She's speaking in codes. All right? Speaking in codes.
That's what happened way back then, and there's nothing we can do about it now. That's what happened back then, and that's what, they had the freedom to choose if they wanted to sign those roles back then. Some people did, and some people did not. But they weren't forced to sign them. They could choose to go on their way and not be a part of the Cherokee Nation, and they could do what, live and be where they wanted to be.
Okay.
You know?
All right. That's true. I get that from your perspective, but and again, I just need clarification. So I really appreciate the fact that you're taking the time to share some of that information to me. So my next question is are you aware or do you know that the Aboriginal people of all the Americas were dark-skinned people?
Can I transfer you to someone else that knows a lot more about this than I do?
Yep, she couldn't take the heat. She couldn't take the heat. She knew where I was going, but she put me onto a professional, one of the professionals. Listen to what's coming next.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I just answered the phone. Just a moment.
All right, thank you. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Registration, this is David. How can I help you?
Yes, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right, cool. I'm G. Yeah, so you're the third person I've been transferred to. So I'm just trying to get some clarification, for to put on the record. I'm Cherokee by blood pedigree. And I was asking, how do you become a part of the Cherokee Nation? So is there any way you could give me some information on that?
Sure. The process for enrollment with the Cherokee Nation requires an ancestor on the Dawes Commission roll, and that roll was made in 1902 in Indian Territory, now Oklahoma.
Okay.
And if you don't have an ancestor on that roll, regardless of how much Indian blood you may have, you are not eligible to enroll.
Okay. So, all right. So I mean, what you just told me is straightforward. So I guess my next question, it kind of makes it a little bit obscure because my family, they didn't participate in the Dawes Rolls. However, we have been in America from time immemorial. We've always been here. So that means I wouldn't be able to even submit an application and be accepted, correct? Because it's not done through blood. It's done through, so it's done through an organization and not through blood, correct?
That's correct.
You hear that? It's done through an organization. You see, I'm leading him into giving me the question, the answers. Okay, it's only organizational based. So let us create a company, a corporation, all right, and say it's Cherokee, and then here's applications for citizenship of that corporation. Same thing like the United States. All right, but again, what do Chief Kalanago know, huh?
Yeah, our tribe is, and we have a constitution that we adopted in 1976 and then amended in 2003. And in that constitution, the Cherokee people who were organized at that time chose the Dawes Roll as the sole source of proof for our organization.
Oh, okay. So with that being said, is it safe to say that even if someone wasn't, an Indian by blood, okay, meaning that their ancestors have always been in the America, as long as they were able to get on that Dawes Rolls, they are still considered Indian?
Well, they're considered a citizen.
Or they're considered a citizen?
Right. The relationship between the United States and the Cherokee Nation is not based on blood.
Oh.
It's based on treaties.
You hear that? It is not based on blood. It is not based on blood. I don't make these things up. You see what I'm saying? So you could be an American Indian on paper based on treaties that were created, but not by your blood. You see what I'm saying? Because your blood, meaning that the real Indians, so-called Indians, they could just be excluded because their blood will prove that they are the original people. You see what I'm saying? So now let's take the blood situation out of the way. That's not good. That's not good enough. Let's just do something on paper and sign treaties and decide who the Indian's going to be. All right.
Okay.
So if someone's ancestors were members of the tribe at one time, but for whatever reason they may have chosen to leave the tribe or forced out of the tribe or abandon the tribe, there's lots of scenarios. The tribe itself would have continued on.
Oh, okay.
And so the relationship between the United States and the Cherokee people is carried out through our government.
Oh.
And so we do have people in our tribe who are not Indians.
Okay.
We just got through with an extremely contentious legal battle with the descendants of our slaves.
Okay.
And so they
The descendants of our slaves. You see where he's going with that? Descendants of our slaves. Bruh, y'all didn't own any slaves. Okay? It was the so-called black Indians who owned the slaves. There are even books written, okay? Black owners, white slaves. You see, so when you see people don't know their story and it's being told from his story, then that's what happens. So now he's eluding that those people that are not Indians, these so-called black people, they went through a legal battle. When the truth of the matter is, y'all became Indians because of them. Okay, y'all fathers slept with our mothers, and then y'all betrayed us. You feel me? That's why I tell our women, man, know who y'all are. Y'all just don't know how precious y'all are. Okay, our land, our identity was taken because of your womb. Now, I'm not blaming you for that. I'm just letting you know the power that you had. Okay? The power that you had. And because they entered your womb and bore seeds and fruits, guess what? They had a right to our land. I hear people say love is love, and that's cool. Love who you want. But just know the ramifications of that from an indigenous perspective. Because now they could have title to what you own. You feel me? That's why it was important to degrade the Aboriginal American woman. Let her be the lowest of the low. Because you know what? They took everything from her. After they stripped her, then you know what? Hey, that's it. We took everything from you. We have no more value for you. So pay attention, man. It gets better.
They won a federal lawsuit and are now enrolling as members of the tribe, even though some of them have Indian blood, some of them don't. We don't care one way or the other. What we care about is, are their ancestors on the roll that the core population shows in 1976? That they are. And we have people on our roll that are on there by fraud. We have, I found probably, I'd say about 5 or 6 families that their ancestors either bribed officials or, whatever the process was. But they got on the roll. And then stayed on the roll for all these years. And so by virtue of our choice to make the dog roll the sole source, they're in.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, what is he talking about? They got there on fraud, like you didn't. You see what I'm saying? People were paying $5 to get on the doors rolls. So what is this dude talking about? But let's proceed, man.
Okay.
One of those descendants is sitting right now on our tribal court.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's every time I see him, but
yeah, I feel you.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So my next question would be, I'm actually, if someone were to see me in the streets without my, my indigenous attire, because, I wear my feathers and my regalia, every single day. Now, if I were to walk in the streets without that, somebody would assume I'm black because of my complexion. So you know where I'm going with this. Do you have any people who fit that description that's actually part of your nation?
Yes. Yeah, we have, as I mentioned, the descendants of our slaves. They are now members of the tribe.
All right.
He said they're descendants of our slaves. Bruh, at what point did y'all ever enslave us? Y'all never enslaved us. Okay, stop playing the games. Okay?
They're descendants of slaves.
Right, they're descendants of slaves. Now, some of them do have Indian blood because the slave masters, creeping in the slave house and producing children.
Right.
But those children were not recognized by any legal marriage.
Okay.
And so their descendants are not enrolled as Indians. They are enrolled as freedmen.
Oh, okay. Okay, and that's perfect. Great information, which brings me to my next question. Because I've done a little research again, I'm connecting back to my tribe, and I'm a full-blooded Indian by blood, right? What that means is, are you aware that in Americas, all over the Americas. I mean, we know that the United States was established on the American continent in 1776, correct?
Well, yes.
Okay, so before 1776, there was no such thing as the United States. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay, beautiful. So before that, even before the 13 colonies and all that, even before the so-called transatlantic slave trade, are you aware that all the people on the American continent were dark-skinned?
Well, I know where you're going with that, and that's the Afrocentrism argument, and we don't subscribe to that.
Well, it's not a matter of subscription. It's a matter of, do you know that it's a fact that the Aborigines of this land were dark-skinned? So therefore, if all the Aborigines of this land, and it's scientifically proven that they were dark-skinned, how is that other people get to claim to be Indians, and then we can't because we didn't take part in the Dawes Rolls?
Well, the Dawes Roll was selected by the Cherokee people, who were the people who owned the Cherokee Nation.
Oh, okay.
We are the Cherokee Nation. And
okay, so is the same thing. So all right. So what is the original name for Cherokee?
You mean in our language?
It was Annie, right?
Well, that's the word for principal people.
Yes.
You hear that? Listen, family. I was like, what was the name, the original name for Cherokee? It was Annie, right? What did he say? Oh, well, that was the name for the principal people. In other words, the Annie is not the Cherokee. You see, when y'all listen, you got to listen and hear. That's why it is said that some will have eyes and they won't be able to see, and ears they won't hear. Y'all got to listen in the spirit, man. Listen to the words. But let's break it down again. Let's go again.
Indians, and then we can't because we didn't take part in the Dawes Rolls.
Well, the Dawes Roll was selected by the Cherokee people, who were the people who owned the Cherokee Nation.
Oh, okay,
we are the Cherokee Nation. And
okay, so is the same thing. So all right. So what is the original name for Cherokee?
You mean in our language?
It was Annie, right?
Well, that's the word for principal people.
Yeah, the principal people. So what I'm saying is Annie was changed to Cherokee. Is there a reason why you guys don't use Annie and now use Cherokee?
We do use that word among ourselves.
You hear that? They use it among themselves. Why, if it was the original name, why do you only want to use it among yourselves? Because you're hiding a secret. Okay? And what's done in the dark will come into the light, because Chief Kalinago will bring it to the light. Okay?
Okay.
In our relationship with the United States, the United States knows us as Cherokee. And
you hear that? So the United States decide, hey, the original people, we can't keep Annie and we got to change something completely different. Take them from, the allodial titles of the land, because that's what the Annie and people were. Okay, let us create something new so we could detach them from the land. Y'all want to make a deal with us? We'll give y'all, we'll do some new treaties. We'll ratify the treaties we had with the Annie and we'll make a new deal with y'all, and we'll give y'all some land. We'll give y'all some benefits. All you have to do is just keep the secret. Come on, man.
And so that's what the treaties say. So we go by what the treaties say when we're in dealing with them.
Oh, okay. So the United States pretty much decided to say, okay, you know what, we're not going to use Annie and let's just create something new, and then we created Cherokee.
Well, that word has also a Cherokee origin, but it's the word Cherokee is an anglicized version of the Cherokee word Achilaki, which means people of fire.
Right.
And so, we don't mind being called Cherokees. We've been called that for 500 years, so we don't have a problem with that.
Okay. And before I conclude, again, I've done some research, and I realized that no disrespect, and I'm here again just to get information. So I'm not going to disrespect your culture, because I think everyone needs to be respected either way. So I'm going to respect that. However, I've done some research, and I realized that your chief is John Bill something, right?
Bill John Baker.
Baker, yeah. So I realized, I found out that he has a 132 Cherokee.
He's actually 3/32, but that's
Okay,
neither here nor there. He's still
3/32.
pretty much a white man.
Yeah, and I
hold up. Let's hear that again. I said he has 130 something. Oh, nah, he has 330 something. But that's neither here and there. He's pretty much a white man. Hold up, listen, y'all better pay attention. Listen.
Something, right?
Bill John Baker.
Baker, yeah. So I realized, I found out that he has a 132 Cherokee.
He's actually 3/32, but that's neither here nor there. He's still pretty much a white man.
Yeah, and I did a lot of research and realized that
he's pretty much a white man. Come on, man.
This is actually from Ireland and German and everything, but yet still he gets to be a Cherokee. And so how is that even possible?
Well, it's possible because his ancestors were citizens of the Cherokee Nation.
You see the difference? A citizen is what makes you different, just like the United States. Our ancestors, the original people here, okay? They were already here, but they were not citizens of the United States. The same thing with our people. They just did it on a smaller scale. Oh, now you, Annie, and we're going to take that away from you. You're the original. We're going to create a new nation, and you have to become a citizen of that to be recognized. Family, y'all got to listen and hear information when it speaks to you. Okay?
Citizenship does not divide.
Oh,
it passed 100% from parent to child.
Mm-hmm.
And so his ancestors, who actually were Indians, I'm related to him distantly, but
well, he was pretty much a white man. I'm related to him. So what does that make you? And then he realized what he said. So he said distantly. Come on, bro, stop playing the games.
His ancestors were Cherokee Indians at the time of discovery.
Mm-hmm.
His ancestors were citizens of the Cherokee Nation at the time of the first making of the Treaty of 1783.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've been citizens of the Cherokee Nation ever since. So we don't base anything on blood quantum. We base it on whether your ancestors were citizens of the nation.
Because the research that I did, it shows that he's not Cherokee he's not even an Indian by blood, period.
Well, he is.
Yeah,
he is an Indian by blood.
But so if he's an Indian by blood, that's what I'm saying is, then he's supposed to be a so-called dark man, because again, the dark people were the original Indians. So again, where did he get to be an Indian by blood?
His ancestors intermarried with white people. That's
but he looks Caucasian to me though. That's what I'm saying. When you say white, do you mean?
We are going on a
hold on for a second, guys. Some ad jumping here. Hold on. This
in that white in the sense of
white European.
Oh, because they're different so-called looking white people. So again, that kind of like it's kind of like a word play. You know what I mean? It's semantics. You know what I mean? Because again, he looks white, but he may not be white European or Anglo-Saxon, but he's a white man.
I would say so.
Exactly.
If I saw him walking down the street, I would say, "There goes a white man."
There you go.
However, our tribe is not necessarily made up of just brown or dark-skinned people.
Okay.
The Cherokee Nation is made up of citizens.
Yeah, and I get that. I totally get that, and I respect that. So again, so I guess all the Aboriginals, because would you guys consider yourself Aborigines?
I would consider us to be Aboriginals, and our government is an Aboriginal government.
Okay, so again, and once again, I mean, and it's not even Afrocentric, because do you believe that? First of all, do you believe that life originated in Africa?
Life or
human life?
No.
You don't believe that?
No.
Okay, you see, there you go, right? We are the only ones, and when I say we, so-called black people are the only ones, and I'm saying so-called because I'm not black. So-called black people are the only ones who believe life originated in Africa, human life. That's what they taught y'all to take you. Remember, that whole Africa thing is a theory that has been debunked, and nothing against our African cousins, but human life did not originate in Africa, okay? But you guys are the only ones all right, that believe that. Let's proceed.
No, I do not.
Okay, it's great, perfect. So if life didn't originate in Africa, how is it assumed that all dark-skinned people are from Africa? I mean, when the sun shines all over the world and the equator actually runs between, the continent of Africa and the Americas, and everybody in South America was dark-skinned. So how is it assumed that every dark-skinned person is African?
I don't assume that.
No, I'm not saying you, but I'm talking about in terms of, because you said, when I mentioned that all the dark-skinned people in the Americas were dark-skinned, you said that's Pan-Africanism. But again, we are agreeing that life didn't originate in Africa and all dark-skinned people are not African. So what happened to all the dark-skinned people that were actually on the American continent from time immemorial? Why is that? Because we didn't sign the Dawes Rules. I know you say it's a governmental thing. So what do we do from there? Do we petition so that could be changed, or it is just something that's ironclad? You have to have been on the Dawes Rules, whether you are an Aborigine or not, because like I said, it's scientifically proven that all the dark-skinned people were actually in the Americas before any light-skinned, pale, anybody, and the first people on the planet, to be quite frank, were dark-skinned. So that means everybody came from the womb of the dark-skinned woman, and that's scientifically proven. Isn't that a fact?
Well, I'm not really sure where you're trying to go with that. I'm not going to agree or disagree with you. I just know that my ancestors, which are Cherokee Indians, have been on this continent for thousands of years. And my ancestors are not Africans. My ancestors are American Indians. And the people who are claiming that they are American Indians that are actually black, we don't buy into that. That's just not who we are.
Well, I know that's not who you are, because once again, of course, if people come into a land and they met people there and they happen to settle in, because remember, you said your ancestors came, right? So they've been here for thousands of years, but before they came, there were people here. So you see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this?
Well, I like you were trying to say.
No, what I'm trying to say. I have the fact that people who actually call themselves natives right now, they haven't been here for thousands of years. And I know you think it is, but we have the scientific and we have the legal documents and historical documents to solidify and prove that fact. So I get that you're saying that to be part of the nation, it doesn't deal with blood quantum. It just strictly deals with citizenship. So again, anybody could just say, okay, you know what? Let's just form an organization and let us just deal with the United States, and we could be considered natives. But yet still, the people who have been here again for millions of years, because my ancestors have been here for, I'm talking about, man, I can't even go back and pinpoint a time when my ancestors were not. You know what I mean? So at some point, you guys,
because that's what you want to believe.
No, that's not what I want to believe. But you see,
the sad thing about that is.
So what I'm saying is this, right?
You've talked for about 20 minutes now.
Yeah.
So let me tell you what I think.
What you think?
What I think is that African American people have a personal opinion.
Okay.
But I think a lot of African American people in this country have a lot of self-hatred, and so you guys want to be us because you don't want to be you.
You hear that? I believe that is my personal opinion, that African Americans, they have a lot of self-hatred. They don't want to be them. They want to be us. All right. Interesting. Okay.
And so, we can't change who you are, and you can't change who we are.
Okay.
Our relationships with the United States are our relationships. Our treaties are our treaties. If you want to run around with feathers on and call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, that's your business.
No, I totally get that. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not here to debate. It's just strictly a conversation. I'm glad we're having this because it's a conversation that needs to be had. Because once again, you said that life didn't originate in Africa. So why are you assuming that? Based on what you're saying, it's safe to say that you're assuming that every so-called black person.
You asked me, did all life begin in Africa?
And you said no.
And I said no.
So my next question is, do you think that?
I asked you, I said, do you mean human beings?
So
I said no.
This is the most appropriate question. Do you think that
black
every
people
so-called black
originated in Africa? Indian people originated in the Americas, white people originated in Europe, and Asian people originated in Asia.
Okay, so hear that. Hear what he said, right? Black people originated in Africa, white people in Europe, and Indians in America. But what he's not telling you is there was no such thing as Africa. Africa was actually considered part of, which was Libya, which was an entire, which was even called Europe. You see what I'm saying? So these people think they're talking to people who don't know the knowledge. I know the knowledge. You see what I mean? And anytime you have a dark skin hue, they call you black. That's what they do. So the moment they see you, they're just going to say you black and you are African. All right?
All right, so here's my question. Do you think that every so-called black person is from Africa?
No, because there are some in Fiji, there are some in Melanesia.
But didn't he just say that all black people are from Africa? Now he's saying that when I ask him that question, no, well, listen again, family, listen again. Listen again.
Indonesia, there are some in India.
That life didn't originate in Africa.
About 20 minutes now.
Yeah,
So let me tell you what I think. What I think is that African American people have a personal opinion. But I think a lot of African American people in this country have a lot of self-hatred. And so you guys want to be us because you don't want to be you. And so, you know, we can't change who you are and you can't change who we are.
Okay.
Our relationships with the United States are our relationships. Our treaties are our treaties. If you want to run around with feathers on and call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, that's your business.
No, I totally get that. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not here to debate. It's just strictly a conversation. And I'm glad we're having this because it's a conversation that needs to be had. Because once again, you said that life didn't originate in Africa. So why are you assuming that? Based on what you're saying, it's safe to say that you're assuming that every so-called black person.
You asked me, did all life begin in Africa?
And you said no.
And I said no.
So my next question is, do you think that?
I asked you, do you mean human beings?
I
said no.
This is the most appropriate question. Do you think that
black
every
people
so-called black
originated in Africa? Indian people originated in the Americas, white people originated in Europe, and Asian people originated in Asia.
But all right, so here's my question. Do you think that every so-called black person is from Africa?
No, because there are some in Fiji, there are some in Melanesia, there are some in India.
Okay.
But didn't he just say all black people came from Africa? Bruh.
No, they're all over the place.
But you were saying that
I'm talking about the black people in the United States.
So here's what you're saying.
Black people in the United States came over on slave trips from Africa.
So guess what? All over the world, you know, there are other black people. He's saying there's black people all over the world, but then only in the United States. Only in the United States. He didn't even dispute there were so-called black people in South America, but all in the United States, the ones that are here, they all came on slave ships. Listen to what the dude is saying.
So what you're saying is that they from everywhere else on the planet except none of them was in America before slavery.
Nope, none of them. Well, some of them might have been. I don't know because.
Man, this is hilarious. You see, when dude, he just couldn't get out of it. What he said, well, some of them. Yeah, come on, bro. Come on, man. Don't play with me, man.
In India,
okay.
You know, they're all over the place.
So what you're saying, that
I'm talking about the black people in the United States. Black people in the United States came over on slave trips from Africa.
So what you're saying is that they from everywhere else on the planet except none of them was in America before slavery.
Nope, none of them. Well, some of them might have been. I don't know because.
Come on.
Slavery evolved.
It's either they were or they are not. Because you see now you're being contradictory. Because if you're saying that so-called black people was on every other planet except America before.
Well, I said planet. I mean on Earth. All right, guys. So pardon me for that.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Only pay for what you need.
Hold on for a second.
You were saying that for some reason the sun didn't allow so-called black people to be in America before the slave trade. That alone in itself doesn't even make sense.
No, there were no black people here before Europeans got here because they brought you guys.
No, but guess what? Europeans didn't bring so-called dark people here. As a matter of fact, the first slaves on the American continent were Caucasians.
That's not even relevant.
No, it is relevant.
He said that's not even relevant. Okay, all right.
Absolutely relevant. It's absolutely
No, it's
relevant.
not. You know, my grandmother, who was a full-blood Cherokee Indian, was dark-skinned. If she had permed her hair, she could have passed for a black person. And
Guys, I want y'all to listen to this real quick. He said his grandmother was Cherokee Indian, a dark-skinned woman. If she permed her hair, she would look like a black person in Oklahoma. Family, y'all gotta listen, man. Listen and hear what the dude is saying. Right there alone, the nail, he just put a nail in the coffin to validate that his people came from the womb of a so-called black woman. But they're not saying black, they're saying dark. That is the key word, the trick. Every time you hear them say dark, they telling you black. Okay? Let's listen to that again. Listen to this again. Listen to it again.
So it doesn't even make sense.
no, there were no black people here before Europeans got here because they brought you guys.
No, but guess what? Europeans didn't bring so-called dark-skinned people here. As a matter of fact, the first slaves on the American continent were Caucasians.
That's not even relevant.
No, it is relevant. It's absolutely relevant. It's absolutely relevant.
You know, my grandmother, who was a full-blood Cherokee Indian, was dark-skinned. And
Cherokee,
if she had permed her hair, she could have passed for a black person. And
Let's
the first
let's hear
slaves
that again.
on the American continent were Caucasians.
that's not even relevant.
No, it is relevant. It's absolutely relevant. It's absolutely relevant.
You know, my grandmother, who was a full-blood Cherokee Indian, was dark-skinned.
Cherokee,
If she had permed her hair, she could have passed for a black person in North Tulsa, which is our. You know, my grandmother, who was a full-blood Cherokee Indian, was dark-skinned. If she had permed her hair, she could have passed for a black person in North Tulsa, which is our. You know, my grandmother, who was a full-blood Cherokee Indian, was dark-skinned. If she had permed her hair, she could have passed for a black person in North Tulsa, which is our.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Okay, if your grandmother was full-blooded Cherokee Indian, and if she permed her hair, she could pass for a black person. Does that mean that because she permed her hair, it changed the color of her skin? Come on, family. Like, am I the only one listening and hearing what this dude is saying? Am I the only one hearing what this dude is saying? More proof and more validation from their own mouth that they only became Indian because of the womb of the original Aboriginal dark-skinned woman they call black in the Americas. Come on, man. Come on. Family, y'all better realize when y'all grandmama told you you had a little bit of Indian in you. That was the Little Red Riding Hood story with the breadcrumbs. They were giving you the breadcrumbs because back then, them saying Indians, it got them killed. It sent them to jail. Okay? I don't know if y'all with me, right? I don't know if y'all with me, man. I don't know, but I know my ancestors with me.
Our black community here. So yeah, there were dark-skinned people here, but not all dark-skinned people are black.
Oh, you hear that? Not all dark-skinned people are black. That's how they play the trick with the word again. You see, obviously, you look at my skin, look at my picture look at my complexion. What part of me is black? My pants is black, but not all dark-skinned people are black. That's how they play the game, because they don't call themselves white. You know why? Because not everybody is white. And I'm going to show you guys the proof again. Like I said, man, Chief don't play. Listen.
But guess what? In fact, nobody's black. Africans call themselves black. We didn't call ourselves black. We are brown skin. So I don't.
Well, you guys had your own names for each other. I know that because you had your own tribes and your own languages.
So now you are actually admitting that before slavery there were dark-skinned people here.
There were American Indian here who.
But I'm talking about in terms of complexion. There were dark-skinned people here. We know we are American Indians, but they were dark-skinned.
No, you all are not American Indian. We are.
But you are not
black people from Africa.
Listen, man. I mean, I see the game that you were playing, and once again, I'm just saying that what the truth will come out to light, and the Creator, what I'm saying, will bring everything to light, and the truth will come out. Because the point I'm trying to make is, you telling me that every so-called black person, dark-skinned person, was on the continent except America. And now you are telling me, well, some of them was here. Either they were or they are not. But then you're talking about black. I never said I was black. Black is a color that's really black. I'm not black. I'm brown. You see what I'm saying?
You're African.
So you're telling me I'm African, but you don't even know who I am, right?
I know what you told me, and
What I said was my ancestors have been on this landmass from time immemorial. Not at one point I said I was African, but you assume that I'm African.
No, you told me that.
No, I never said that. I asked you, do you think that all dark-skinned people
all this line and stuff that you're telling me? We hear it all the time. People with your views call us probably about once a month, and
no. I'm calling, and like I said, that's why I said, I'm calling because it's for the record, because we have to make sure that again we get to the bottom of this, because I know I realize that there are so many different cultures that's here usurping, our identity. And then when we approach them, they tend to again evade the question and deal with it from more of an organizational perspective. Okay, well, you know what? This is what the United States said. We are the Indians. Oh no, it's not what they say. It's what is. You know what I'm saying? But I totally get where you're coming from. It's an organizational thing. You don't have to be an Indian by blood to be part of the Cherokee, because the United States, hey, you know what? They're foreigners. They came here, they fought, my ancestors. And when I say my ancestors, I'm talking about the dark-skinned people who was on this continent before even you guys came. And they have to put somebody in our place, and I guess it happens that way. But the truth will come out. That's all I'm just saying. And again, I appreciate your time. Thank you. You give a lot of insight, and I got what I was looking for, so I appreciate that. And again, time will tell. Time will tell. All will come to light. So I hope you have a great day. And look out for us, because we're coming. All right?
Got our eyes
on. All right, take care, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, family. So that was my conversation with the Cherokee Nation in Oklahoma. So you have to take your time and listen to what these people are saying. Break it down, okay? Break it down. Again, that word black, that's why I keep telling all people, stop calling yourselves black. You are not black. You see, and that's why I get so crazy about it. You see, because you are being taken from your motherland and put somewhere else because you're calling yourself dead. Now, I cannot force you to be anything that you want to be. Okay, I'm not going to force you to be anything you don't want to be. But you see why that's what's happening to you within the United States. And that's the reason why you're going through what you're going through. It's not because of the color of your skin. It is because of the state of your mind. You have lost your way. You have lost who you are. That's the problem. Right from the man's mouth. Right from his mouth, he said what? My grandmother was a full-blooded Cherokee. And if she permed her hair, she would look like one of the black people in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So what you trying to tell me? If she didn't perm her hair, she still wouldn't look like somebody in Oklahoma? Because we are talking about complexion. But you're saying she is dark-skinned, but she's not black. Family, I don't know, man. I don't know what else to show y'all. I don't know what else to tell y'all. I don't know what else to do. All I could do is just bring you the information. Okay? And and this is not to beat up on natives, man. I just want the truth to be told. Okay? And then, like I told you earlier, my real purpose for doing this video, about 18, because somebody added me to a group, like I said, 2 groups with Native Americans. Okay? And literally, as soon as that happened, not even 10 minutes later, I started getting the hate speech. Okay, you are not this, you are not that. Okay, show me your DNA, show me this and show me that. But yet still, to be recognized, they're not doing it by blood. You feel me? And that brings me to the next few things I'm going to show you guys. Now, let me say this. Okay. Commercialized DNA, okay, was created to put us in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa. That was the purpose of creating that, okay? They are all part of a commercial game. They are part of the colonization society, okay? Now, I hear a lot of people say that DNA cannot tell you or identify you and sort of like your ancestry. That's not true. Okay, because if a certain group of people are tested, all right, like take for instance, okay, if you have family members that came to New York and you're from California, and they went and test those family members and they have their DNA on record and they come and test you, then obviously you will be related. So I don't want anybody telling me that DNA don't work. That is not true. The commercialized ones, they are the ones that's just strictly for entertainment purposes. Okay? Because DNA have freed people from jail that was convicted falsely. Okay? DNA have put people in jail for crimes for life because their DNA was found on the scene. So we know DNA is a real thing. The question is, where did the DNA come from? Now, I do agree. DNA may not specifically tell you what tribe you came from because maybe that tribe wasn't tested. Okay? But DNA can tell you your ancestry. I just wanted to put that on the record. Okay? Because me personally, when I started doing what I was doing, talking about law and who we are, all right? Because people heard that I had an accent. Okay, like I tell people, everybody have an accent. Somebody from California sounds different from somebody from Chicago. Sounds different from somebody in Atlanta. Some different from somebody in Atlanta. From different from somebody in PA. The point is, even in the Caribbean, a Jamaican sound different from a Dominican. A Dominican sound different from a St. Lucian. Okay, well, St. Lucia and Dominica, they're almost the same. Sound different from somebody from Trinidad. Okay, it's just an accent. You see what I'm saying? So because we are blinded by that, we don't realize that the Americas is a continent and we are still one people. So because I knew what I would go through, with my own people, all right, I went to a private DNA source. Okay, and guess what? My grandmother is alive and well, and she's 90 years old. Okay, and I can prove that my ancestors were in the islands, okay, before slavery. And let's keep in mind again, the first Americans, people that were called Americans, were the people in the West, so-called West Indies. It wasn't until later, during colonization, forced into the United States, and everybody became Americans. Okay? Now, it doesn't mean that the people in the United States are not aboriginals. What I'm saying is, at that time, they were still their tribes, their clans. They still have the names. You see what I'm saying? And no, America did not come from Americo Vespucci. That's an indigenous name that came from the Americas. So let us kill the noise and the lies that were told. You feel me? And that's what's dividing us. We are taking it's just too many different clans and tribes thinking that we are just different people, when the truth is it was just a cultural thing. Different dialects, okay? Different accents, different foods, but we are the same people. You feel me? So that's what I did. I decided that, hey, you know what? I know at some point this was going to come up, so let me go ahead and do a private DNA test. Now, I'm not here to promote any DNA company, all right? If you don't have to do that, it's not necessary. I did it. Why? Because again, I was born in the islands and I'm in the United States telling our people, hey, we are aboriginals, and I'm getting hit from my own people. You feel me? So I followed my spirit. But before I do that, I show you that. Let me just show you something, what a free white person is. Let me show you something real quick, because that's what I'm doing. I'm putting everything out on the table right now because I'm tired of these games that's being played. All right. And I'll tell you why they don't consider themselves white, because not every so-called pale individual is white. Okay. Let's get that straightened out. Now, as you could see right now, this is a free white person. Okay, a free white person. Let's read this. Who is a free white person? free white person referred to in the Naturalization Act. Now that's a real act, okay? A free white person in the Naturalization Act, as amended by Act July 14th, 1870, has meaning naturally given to it when it first used 1 Stat 103 C3, meaning all persons belonging to the European races then commonly counted as white. It says all persons from the Europe belonging to the European races. Now, it doesn't mean European in skin complexion. It's talking about European from a geographical perspective, because there are a lot of so-called black people who come here and they identify as white. You see, y'all don't get this, but let us read. Okay? Meaning all persons belonging to the European races then commonly counted as white, and their descendants, including such descendants in other countries which they have immigrated. It includes all European Jews, more or less intermixed with peoples of Celtic, Scandinavian, Teutonic, Iberian, Latin, Greek, and Slavic descent. It includes Magyars, Lapps, and Finns, and the Basque and the Albanians. It includes the mixed Latin, Celtic, Iberian, and Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal. Okay, the people who controlled Spain for 711 years, and they came here to fight my ancestors. No disrespect to my Moorish cousins. Okay, stop telling me this is your land. Yes, it became your land because of colonization. Let's not play the games. That's why I tell people I respect the Moors, and there are a lot of them that are stand-up guys, because I know a few of them and they tell the truth. But there's too many of them with that colonized mindset. You knew what your forefathers did to my people. You feel me? So I'm setting the record straight. All right. It includes Magyars, Lapps, Finns, and the Basque and Albanians. It includes the mixed Latin, Celtic, and Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal, the mixed Greek, Latin, Phoenician, and North African inhabitants of Sicily, and the mixed Slav and Tatar inhabitants of South Russia. Look who it does not include. Okay, let us look at who it does not, or whom it does not include. It does not mean Caucasian race. The Caucasian race, they are not white. That's why when they came here, a lot of them, for the most part, came here as slaves. They would say indentured servants, but trust me, I know better. Okay, some did come as indentured servants, but became slaves. They were not white. It just became a general term, literally in the 60s. All right, so let's put that in perspective. It does not mean Caucasian race, Aryan race, or Indo-European race, nor the mixed Indo-European, Dravidian, Semitic, and Mongolian peoples who inhabit Persia. Those are the people that's taking our place right now. That's why they say they are not white. You see all people perish for the lack of knowledge. They are not white because of the classification of white. They're not talking about skin, because nobody is white and nobody is black. I don't know when y'all are going to get this. It is a status. Okay? Assyrian of Assyri, birth and descent, will not be entitled to become a naturalized citizen of the United States as being a free white person. But yet still, there are enslaved white people as well that fit the criteria, okay, because they came as indentured servants, aka slaves. All right, so I just wanted to share this with y'all. All right, pay attention. See, y'all got to stop allowing people to play these games with us. Okay, I'm not mad at you for saying who you are. I respect it. But stop trying to impose who you are on me when I know the truth. You feel me? Now, Let me go here and show you this now. Let me see which one. What I did, okay? I did 3 private DNA tests, okay? Let me share the results with you. Because the natives, they're always asking, well, where's your DNA? Where's your DNA to prove? All right, since we know now y'all don't go by blood, but I like to cover all bases, and that's just me. All right, I'm not asking you to do that. If your grandmother showed you who you are, all right, and you know you could do all that, then that's fine. But like I said, okay, because I was born in the islands, when I came into the United States to teach that knowledge and lift my people up, okay, they were attacking me. So I had to cover all bases. You feel me? I had to cover all bases. Now, this is one of them, okay? This is one of them that I'm showing you. I did a Native American DNA test, and it came back, okay? Certificate of ancestry, of course, the name that my mom gave me, and Kalinago flying, you know, eagle, and another name that's attached. All right. Ordered a DNA fingerprint, blah blah blah. It came back what? Showing matches Native American ancestry, U.S. Cherokee. Now check this out. Okay. I have people that I have linked with through my DNA results that are American Aboriginals. And up to this present day, we still talk because we are cousins. So y'all cannot tell me, you know, DNA cannot link you to your family, okay? It depends on the company that you use. A lot of these things are commercialized, so I wouldn't suggest that. In fact, I'm not suggesting anything. That is just my journey because of what I had to do, okay? Now, let me stop sharing that one and go to the other one. Let me stop sharing this. All right, the next one. Here we go. That's another test that I did, which I really didn't have to do both, but I did it anyway. All right, let me show you guys this one. So when people are talking, man, I just listen to actually hear people talk. You feel me? Let me go here and show this one. This one right here, okay? I did the plus, and here we are. Okay, hold on for a second, guys. There's a little noise in my background. Hold on for a second, all right? All right, I'll be with you guys in a minute. It's just that, you know, there's a little noise in my background, so give me 1 second, okay? Appreciate it. Okay, so I did the Native American plus, and I did the American Indian. Both came back. It says what? The following American Indian, okay, and in the entire printout from all the population that they test in the world, okay, it came back exclusively that I'm American Indian. Okay, so when these natives are talking, but yet still, guess what? I was born in the islands. So how is that possible? It proves everything that I've been telling y'all. Okay, our ancestors were traveling this entire landmass. Because that stuff they showed me in visions. Okay? In visions. Now, I even took it a step further. Because like I tell people, my ancestors come to me in visions. As a matter of fact. Okay? One night I had a dream, a vision. Okay? And my ancestors always come to me with feathers. They literally touch me. I felt the touch. Every time. Before anything. They talk, before any conversation, they tap me to get my attention in my state of rest, always. And they talk to me. So a lot of the stuff that I talk about, even before I did all this extensive research, is stuff they had already showed me in dreams. But I had to find a way to validate the things I was talking about. So I went to study for over 10, 15 years, studying. Okay? Pulling information. I went to the Library of Congress. I used to go there like for a whole month and a half sometimes, almost every single day. Until they opened, till they closed. They had to kick me out. At some point, me and Creek was going. You feel me? So when I talk about what I'm talking about, I come with the facts, all right? Not just opinions. And he say or she say. Now, I was always telling people that America is the first Egypt. I have shown that in documents, and I was also getting visions, okay? That my Egyptian ancestors was coming to me. So what did I do? I did a rare genes test, and let me show you the results, okay? If y'all think this is a game. So when I talk, and I talk with the confidence that I speak of, is because it's not just a physical thing, it's a spiritual thing, okay? Let me share this with y'all. And this is the results of my rare genes test, okay? Ordered rare genes test showing the rare gene of Akhenaten, the pharaoh. Okay, even if I'd already seen that in a vision. And guess what? That DNA came from the actual tomb. On both my parents' side, both alleles, my mother and my father. So I was told that our family intermarried to keep our bloodline pure. So I tell people, when y'all talking to me, put some respect on my name. Okay? And I did an invocation. And I reached out to, you know, whether it my grand, whatever the case may be, Akhenaten, to ask for permission to carry that name as my legacy. And that permission was granted to me. So when I tell y'all I'm on a whole different level with what I do, y'all better recognize. So for all you haters out there, y'all could talk as much as y'all want. Chief Kalinago who know who he is. And he came here to resurrect and restore the original people. No disrespect to anybody else and no hate to nobody else. All right. But when y'all come to me with respect. Okay. I'm not Birdman, but y'all going to put some respect on it. All right. And that's that. So I'm going to continue to do what I do. And I'm going to continue to teach. I'm going to continue to lift. All right. So that at some point, people will have to stop telling us who we are. It's time for us to stand up together as one people, okay? As the children of the American continent. We got to stop that, okay? People always asking us to prove. Well, you know what now? You prove. The burden of proof is on you now. Because y'all was asking for DNA. Here it is. Now the burden of proof is on y'all. Okay? The burden of proof is on y'all now. Prove to me that you're the original people of the land. Not tell me what the United States said. We know what the United States did to the Aborigines of this land. We know. So they have no credence, okay, or integrity when it comes to our people. Okay? So and they know the truth. But you see, we are not stepping up because why? We are continuously sticking with being black when we are not. That is the first key. Give them back their Black History Month. Give them back their blackness. Give it back to them. That's not us. And stop calling everybody white. Nobody's white in complexion. It's only a status, and only a certain status is so-called white. Not even Caucasians were considered white. Okay? A Moorish American have more of a right to call himself or herself white opposed to a Caucasian, if y'all didn't know that. And I'm going to reiterate, we are the only ones, the original people of this land, are the only ones that have a lawful and spiritual right to call ourselves American without the hyphen. So even if you cannot trace your ancestry, but your grandmother told you who you was, guess what? You are just straight out American without the hyphen, because that's who we are, the original ones, without any hyphen. We are the only ones who have the right, legally and spiritually and lawfully, to call ourselves American. We are the only ones, nobody else. And we got to stand up and make sure that's known. Okay? That name did not come from any colonizer. This is an indigenous name. The way it's spelled may be a different variation. Okay? And no, it was never Morocco. It was never El Morocco. It was never that. No disrespect. So stop trying to colonize us. A lot of us know the truth. We could all get along. I respect you for who you are. Respect us for who we are. Okay? And like I said, we are the only ones that have the right, lawfully and spiritually. You see, the Great Spirit gave us this land, put us on this side of the world, and we are the only ones that's truly entitled to be called Americans. Everybody else has to be a hyphen. So for all my brothers and sisters out here, if you don't know who you are, but your grandmother told you was an Indian, well, guess what? You are an American without the hyphen. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right? So with that being said, you guys enjoy the rest of your continuation, and I will talk to you guys a bit later. All right? Take care.